Welcome, 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 welcome to Be in the Garden. Welcome to being in nature with me, Tossie. Thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time, then it's all about me and all that I get up to in the garden or in different gardens. So you are more than welcome. If you are returning, as always, you are so welcome and thank you for returning. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I last uploaded. Life just throws challenges sometimes, but no matter what, we never, ever, 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 never, 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 ever give up. We just continue doing what it is that we can. But more than anything, I really want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm grateful to each and every single one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And thank you for watching me as I get up to all sorts in my garden today. Autumn is doing what it does. Stripping the leaves from the trees, at least the deciduous trees. This is the same area in the garden just some months ago when I had the joy, the privilege, the beauty of being able to harvest our own organic apples. It's beautiful to just stop, and I'm grateful that I have this space where I can literally just come here and just stop. These here are the echinacea, and I hope the seeds, when they fall, will be able to create new life in this area. Here we have the Hellebore, and they are just beginning to try and show off their beauty. Today I'm going to tidy up an area underneath my silver birch. They're just turning a lovely coppery colour, but there are some beautiful Hellebore underneath here, and I just want to expose them a little bit so that we can see their beauty as they start to flower. I'm clearing back some of the comfrey. These plants are very welcome in the garden and they do very well, and the bees and other beneficial insects absolutely adore the flowers that come from the comfrey. However, it is quite a vigorous growing plant, and so it's a good idea just to trim it back occasionally. However, the foliage is not wasted. I will either use it to mulch around some fruit trees over the winter, or place the leaves in the compost, as you'll see me do later in the programme. These leaves are from the laurel, and whilst this is an evergreen tree, in the autumn, however, it does drop some of the leaves, as you can see here. At this time of year, it is for me a time of reflection, certainly, just seen as the seasons change, as one comes to an end and another prepares to begin. It is really just confirmation of the cycle of life. I love the autumn in the garden. I think along with spring, it's one of my favourite seasons. I think it's just the untapped joy that can be seen at this time of year. The changing colour of the foliage, and actually what the fallen leaves can create. So I use it very much for mulching around plants and also making leaf mulch. Back here, I have got some camellia. These will be flowering around January time, January, February time. And the ones I have here are Alba. These are the white ones. I have this plant here, which I planted back in the spring, summer. It's a huge leaf, isn't it? And it's chocho. But despite the growth it put on, you can see it twining into my apple tree, I didn't get any fruits, at least not this year. I'm hoping that I might get something next year. Our garden is organic in that there's no chemicals, no pesticides, no chemicals. I keep saying chemicals, don't I? But you know what I mean. No herbicides. There's nothing in the garden to control, aka wildflowers. And so I have to do all the management of wildflowers manually. In this particular bed, it's dying back for this time of year. But the beauty is I'm so looking forward for when the Hellebore start showing off their amazing display of flowers. I do have a few of the Hellebore that are beginning to display their beauty just here. Aren't they pretty? On with the clearing up, creating space for the Hellebore, creating compost. What could be better at this time of year? Fresh air and the sound of the beautiful birds. Take a listen. Along here, I'm trying intentionally not to expose too much of the soil actually. We've got the colder of the weather still yet to come. And so there's no point really in exposing the soil because the soil at this time of year would benefit from actually being covered. So what I could also do is chop and drop, which means just to cut the leaves back and just let them drop where they are. And that way they will just decompose over the winter and add the nutrients back into the soil. I am, however, trying to manage some of the areas here, and I will be cutting back some of the spent flowers from the heuchera. The heuchera is it's not quite an evergreen plant. It will die back somewhat, but it will bounce back in the spring. So I'm going to cut back these flowers here. And what I want to do is try to expose more of the Hellebore. We've got the Hellebore here. I'm just going to trim back the spent flowers. And I will, maybe not in this video, but I'll be mulching around the plant as well. So just cutting away the spent flowers. Listen to the birds sing, keeping me company. What beauty. I really couldn't ask for more. Putting away the hose for the year. I shouldn't imagine I'll be needing it again, at least not until spring. A container full of rainwater. Watch and see what I will do with this. Listen to the beautiful songs from the birds. They are a delight every season. They always come out and keep me company. They are a joy. What a beautiful, beautiful sound. I repotted these into this container where there are no drainage holes, and for the first time in about 20 years they flowered. So the secret, I find, is to have them in a container with plenty of water. This is just rainwater, and they did spectacularly well in that I got one flower this year, but I haven't had this plant flower in over 20 years, but simply by transplanting them into a container where they actually sit in water, or at the very least, they're often very damp. They've done very well this year by simply giving me one flower. Well, I have more of that plant, and I have an odd container here with some rainwater, and I'm going to simply pot them in the container. Got some amazing fibrous roots. Got some lovely clumps here, still very healthy. Just potting them on into a larger container, and they make these sort of rhizomes. And I'm looking forward to having more of these come summer. So I'm holding the camera in one hand. I'm simply going to pop them in this container so that they do not dry out. There's a bit of soil at the bottom, and I'll deal with them in the spring. I have some places I think I would like them to go, but for this season I want them just to sit in some water. I'll divide them on, I think, and put them in a variety of different containers, I think, in the springtime. But for now, I just want them sitting in some water. So all the little tiny ones, I think I'll just put those into here. I'm removing some of the comfrey to help the Hellebore have the advantage of getting the light so that they, oops, the camera's doing all sorts of things, bear with me. So at the base of these Hellebore, these are the Hellebore leaves, and at the base of the leaves, it's actually underneath an apple tree, so we've got some lovely rotted down apples here, but at the base of the leaves you can see where the Hellebore flowers are going to emerge from. So what I'm trying to do is remove the comfrey, and these are laurel from an earlier trim. I'm removing some of those so that with whatever light there is remaining in the season, you can see that the Hellebore flowers will emerge from here. I will also trim back some of the leaves so that you really get a great display of the Hellebore flowers, because they're really pretty, and be a shame for them to be hidden away. So I'm just going to prune back just some of the Hellebore leaves so that the flowers are able to do their magnificent magic. Okay, you can see the beginnings of the flowers, there's no question. They are definitely there. The plant is still viable. Definitely a plant I would recommend, especially for the time of year that it produces its flowers, which is from any time from now really. So November, late November into December, January, February, and all the way into the early summer actually. So it's definitely a plant I would recommend. Hellebore. Oh, I've got a beautiful ladybug here. I'll leave her right where she is. Just avoid stepping on her. To complement the silver birch, which displays a white trunk over time, and the Hellebore that you've just seen, the white flowers, I've also planted some white crocuses in this area, and so just by removing some of the overwhelming comfrey will allow the smaller white flowers to display their beauty. Here, I'm simply scattering the dried seeds from the Acanthus mollis, or the bear's breeches plant. This is a perennial plant, so it will grow back every single season, and I'm just giving nature a bit of a hand, as if she needs me. I'd like to say thank you to each and every single one of you for being here, for supporting me, for encouraging me. It really does help that I know that you're there. You can see I'm just going to continue doing this because I'm running out of daylight. But you can see just by pulling back some of the fallen leaves, I've managed to expose the beginnings of the Hellebore. And I really cannot wait for them to show their full glory all through the winter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on tidying up, removing some of the leaves around, trimming back a little to allow the Hellebore to put on their best display. I intentionally planted the Hellebore, or this batch here, underneath the silver birch. I'm hoping that over the years, as the trunk of the silver birch matures, it will be a beautiful contrast, the beautiful deep green from the Hellebore, and then the white flowers of the Hellebore with the white bark of the birch. And just listen to those birds. With me being in the garden and disturbing the soil gently, they're coming around and feeding. And it's always a joy to be in the garden. Nature is always amazing. And just when we thought that autumn brings the end of some plants, where the leaves fall down and die, it's always also a reminder that it also brings new life. And so for me, gardening is just a cycle of life, and it is the closest reminder that I get to see every day that nature is simply a cycle of life, and we're all in that cycle too. So wherever you feel you are, or your loved ones are, in this beautiful cycle of life, please take care and keep well. And I really look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate love you. Keep well, everybody. I'll see you in my next video.